Hey guys, it's been a while. Let's see if I remember how to do this. So it's been a hot minute since I made a video. Some of you may be wondering where I was at. Well, put a long story short, I had the opportunity presented to me to go and help build and work on Epic Universe. So the new theme park that Universal Orlando Resort literally just opened up today. But was doing that for about a year. Took up a lot of time, and well, something had to give somewhere, so I decided to let the videos kind of go to the side. I do have some videos that I filmed a little bit here and there, but mainly stopped because I wanted to focus on getting the park open. Now, a lot of you are probably going, well, yeah, we'll prove it. How do we know? The problem is I can't prove it per se. I can't really show you badges or anything, but I do have some of the little trinkets they sent us, and the way to get these were, to work on the project. So that's that. You're just going to have to believe me. Um, which if you say, well, I don't want to, fair. But with it opening, it's a brand new park. I've kind of experienced the whole thing. Figured I would share some kind of tips and tricks and look at it in the lens of I'm going to get to go for a day because I'm assuming most people are going to go at some point, and you may only get to go for a day. And if you only get to go for a day, what are things that you have to do? What are some things you can kind of skip? So this whole video is going to be focused towards that. So in my opinion, since I've been there, built it, I've had a hand in pretty much all of it. If I was going in knowing what I know, basically kind of being an insider, if I was going to go and I had one day to spend, how would I spend it? Now, before we hit there, I'm going to share some general tips that's going to make your park experience a whole lot better and way more pleasant. And I do have some handy dandy note cards because I want to make sure I hit them all and I don't miss anything. So, general tip number one, there's not a lot of shade at the park right now. There are trees planted, but they have to grow. So, with that said, it's going to be hot. Think like World Showcase at Epcot hot. It's very warm park right now. You are going to want to bring fans, bring hats, bring water bottles, wear sunscreen. You're going to want to drink a ton of water. It's a very large park, lots of walking, and like I said, there's just not a lot of shade there right now. It'll be there eventually, but the trees have to grow first. So just be aware of that. It's going to be very hot. You're going to want water. You're going to want shade. Hop into those stores when you need to. Pick you up a little bit of air conditioning. Food. That's another one. You're going to be there all day. What food should I pick? What food should I avoid? I've had about everything at the park that it has to offer, with the exception of the hot dog stand and the bao buns. Those weren't open before my contract ran out. And honestly, you can't go wrong with any of the food. So just kind of figure out what you want to eat, or maybe even what doesn't have a line, and go ahead and go. It was all really good. Like I said, you're not going to go wrong with picking any of it. I think you'll be happy with just about all of it. The last thing I want to touch on are these. These are not magic bands. This is a power up band. So this is how you're going to interact with basically everything in Super Nintendo World. I've got the Toad one. They're just like the old slap bracelets. You put it on, and you'll cinch it down kind of like a watch. And then this is what's going to let you pretend to be Mario. You get to go and mess with the blocks. You get to do other things. One thing I do want to point out with this is not a magic band. This is a power up band. Okay, so magic band. Disney's got us all trained. We see something, we push it up, boop, and we go on our way. That is not the case with these. Do not push them up against stuff. You will. I don't know if it's picking up, but it's kind of a high gloss finish. You will scrape it, maybe even damage it. Don't know. And these, they're a little about the price of a Magic Band Plus, so they're not super expensive, but they're also not cheap. You don't want to mess this up. So when you are in Super Nintendo World and you want to hit a block like Mario, put it on. Punch the block like Mario. It will register, I promise. You're in Donkey Kong Country, you see some hand stuff you want to slap like Donkey Kong, just slap it like Donkey Kong. It will register. These are not magic bands. You don't have to boop them on everything. You don't want to mess these up. So the easiest way to not mess them up is use them as they were intended to be used. So those are all kind of the general tips. Oh, one last general tip I do want to share. If you are an annual pass holder, bring your annual pass with you. They were doing it, and I believe they still are. So it should be correct. If not, I do apologize. But if you get free parking up at North Campus, you'll get free parking down at South. Sorry, you guys won't know the South Campus. You'll get free parking down at Epic. if you get a percentage off at the normal parks. You'll get that same percentage off at Epic. So bring your annual passes with you and use them. Now that we're kind of done with all the little tips and tricks and things to kind of make your experience better, I've got a list of things that for me are must-dos. A list of things that if the wait time is right, I will do them. And then a list of things that, in my opinion, is just not going to be worth it, at least not right now at this time. And I'll explain why I have that thought process. But like any good thing, let's go ahead and start with the must-dos. For me, if I'm going in and I've got one day to spend, the Toothless meet and greet. That is probably the top thing I would do. It's really cool. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but the Toothless meet and greet is awesome. If you got anybody that likes dragons, you have to go do this meet and greet. You will not be disappointed. It is super awesome. Staying with the dragons area, the island of Berk. Hiccup's Winged Gliders. It is the family coaster there. It is great for a family coaster. Every bit as good, if not better, than any of the other family coasters you can think of. This is kind of like Hagrid's Light. And once you ride it, you'll realize what I mean by that. But definitely do that one. Wait's probably not going to be too long. Staying in dragons. You're going to notice a theme here. The Untrainable Dragon Stage Show. Go watch that. I can't say enough good things about that. Once again, something you are not going to be disappointed doing. And let's go ahead and go out of Berk at this point and go on the other side of the park. Monsters Unleashed, the big e-ticket attraction and Dark Universe. You must do that. Okay? It's awesome. You're not going to be disappointed. But that's definitely something I would not miss. And I've already ridden it, I think, 4 times maybe. And when I go here in a couple weeks, I'm going to ride it again. At least once, if not twice. So it's definitely worth doing. The queue is awesome. There's lots of little Easter eggs and wink winks at past Universal Monsters movies. Definitely worth doing. Let's see. Next, we're going to stay over in Dark Universe. Burning Blade Tavern. And I'm not saying go in and get a drink. The drinks are fine. They're pretty good. But the Burning Blade Tavern, if you don't know, it's cool to watch when it lights on fire. But monster hunters will come in and they'll chat and interact with the group, and it's just really awesome to watch. Some little fun thing, and while you're in there, you're getting a little bit of air conditioning. So even better, right? Mario Kart. Let's go over to Super Nintendo Land. Or Super Nintendo World, sorry. Mario Kart. It's the one to do in Mario. It's just real neat. We've got a better version of it down here, in my opinion, than the other parks that have it. Definitely worth watching. Definitely worth experiencing. Q's awesome. If you got anybody that likes Mario, you need to do this one ride. The next one, let's go over to Harry Potter. The Battle at the Ministry queue, specifically the queue. The queue is amazing. You have to go see this queue. The queue itself is a must-do. Notice I'm saying the queue, and we'll cover that a little bit later on. But if you're lucky, sometimes they are just letting people go in and look at the queue because the lines have been 6, 7, 8 hours to ride this thing. But they'll let you go in and look at the queue. Definitely do that if you get the opportunity. You will not be disappointed. That is probably... I don't know if I like that queue better or if I like the queue for Monsters Unleashed better, but it's definitely one of those two. And, I should put this back in the tip section. Even if you get Express Pass or you have ways to kind of speed up the line, some of these attractions, the queues themselves are part of the attraction. So if it was me and I had the Express Pass, I would not use it for Monsters Unleashed, Battle at the Ministry, or Mario Kart. Those three, the queue themselves, are basically kind of part of the attraction, and you really should experience them. Okay, now getting us back on track. Let's see, where are we at? We've done that. Stardust Racers, the big coaster in the middle of the park. It's got the 2 tracks. Do it. It's on par with Velocicoaster. I know a lot of people think it's better than Velocicoaster. I don't know. I'm still kind of in between on those two. I really do like me some Velocicoaster, and I think if someone's like, you got to pick now, I would still probably choose Velocicoaster over Stardust, but it's real close. And the great thing is it's got a high rider capacity, so even then it doesn't have much of a line ever. So definitely go do both sides. Do both sides. Don't do just one. Do both sides. It's got two sides. Just ride one, go right back in, ride the other. Okay, so now the next one is if the wait time is right. So these are ones like if it's 30 minutes to an hour, I'll probably go ahead and jump in. If it's 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that, I'm gonna skip it. So the first one I'm going to put on this list is Constellation Carousel. And I can hear you now, it's just a carousel. Why do I need to do a carousel? You're right, it is a carousel, but it's a different kind of carousel. I don't want to say anything else because it might spoil it. And I'm sure, there's vloggers and everybody that's got to go in and do their videos. Go ahead and watch their stuff if you want to kind of see what I'm talking about. Like I said, I'm trying to keep this as spoiler free as I can so people can still be surprised when they get there. But definitely check out Constellation Carousel. I would wait probably 30 minutes for this, maybe 45. Keep in mind this is one that the queue has no air conditioner. You're outside, so that kind of goes into it a bit. The next one, Fire Drill. Fire Drill, this is over in Island of Berk. It's the water ride. When it's working properly, it's great. You will get soaked. If it's not working properly, you'll still get wet, you just won't get soaked. So if it's a nice hot day, definitely hop in and ride it. This is another one I probably would spend maybe 30, 45 minutes in line. It's fun. The kid and I had a blast when we got to go for our preview day. So definitely, check that out if it's really hot and the line's not too long. Curse of the Werewolf. This is the family coaster over in Dark Universe. Spins a little bit. If you've ever been to Silver Dollar City and rode, always mess up the word or the name for it, but it's Time Traveler, I believe is the correct name. It's a mock spinning coaster. People hear spinning, they freak out. It's not a free spin, it's a controlled spin. Same type of thing, it's just like its little baby brother. So if you've ridden the West Silver Dollar City, you've ridden the big one that works, it's way more intense than this one. This is a nice family coaster. Definitely worth a 30, maybe 45 minute wait. This is another one where the queue is all outside, so if it's a hot summer day, keep that in mind. There is some shade, but it takes a while to get to the shade. Yoshi's Adventure. This is the one where you ride the big Yoshis. It's just a little people mover. It's made for little kids. You go through, you'll see some eggs that are colored. You'll push buttons, and you have some nice scenes of basically Yoshi's Island, if you're old enough to know what that is. Then Le Cirque Arcanus. This is the stage show over at Harry Potter. If you could only do one stage show, I would definitely choose the Dragons one over this one. This one's neat. It's a little more, think like Cirque du Soleil. So if you're into that sort of stage show, definitely check it out. If it's not, your cup of tea, then, maybe you skip this one. I don't know. Like when it gets to HHN every year, when they have, I don't remember what the stage show is called ever, because I just always call it Cirque des Spooky. And I rarely watch that just because I'd rather go do some other things, and that sort of entertainment. It's not really my cup of tea. It's neat. Not take away from anything that they do. It's just not really for me. The last two on this list I kind of have as the straddlers. They could either be in this one where if the wait time is right, I will ride it. And it could also be in ones that I would just flat out skip. So I've got two that kind of fall into this. I'll start with the one that's easy to explain. That's Dragons Racers Rally. So that's just the one that's in Berk. That's just kind of your typical flat ride. Used to be a lot cooler because you could spin the dragons a lot easier. And they kind of tightened that up. So after it tightened up, I think I've seen one person be able to actually get it to spin. It kind of took some of the fun out of it for me, but it's just your typical kind of flat ride. The other one, and I got a little story to go with this. This is Minecart Madness. This is the Donkey Kong coaster. It's neat, cool idea, but the ride itself has a very low rider capacity because you sit in these 4-people carts. The ride is not very long. You're looking at probably about 45 seconds for the entire ride, and it's very rough. To the point when I got to take my daughter and we went on it, I didn't tell her anything about it. She really wanted to ride it. It was like a 2.5 hour wait. So I told her, hey, that's 2.5 hours. That's, you know, us going to do some other stuff. Are you sure you want to wait? She wanted to wait. So we got on it, and it was, I think, closer to 3 because I broke down, I believe, once. And we hopped on, we rode it, we got off, and she looked at me, and I was like, well, what'd you think? And her exact words were, without any sort of poking or prodding, it wasn't worth the wait, Dad. And it's rough. I hurt. So if a 7-year-old's saying that, you know, maybe you should put a little stock into that. It's a neat concept. They got some cool animatronics. There's a couple spots where you heard people go, banana! That's a little more of an inside joke, but I'm sure that joke has gotten out and will be a permanent joke for the entirety of that ride's life. But, you know, if it's 30 minutes, I'll go ahead and jump in it. If it's more than about 30 minutes, I'm probably not, unless I need a chiropractor visit, because it's a rough ride. Now I've got last one here. Oh, and I realize I forgot one thing on the must-dos, but we'll go back to that here in a minute. The not worth it. The single one here on not worth it. And this is nothing to do with the quality of the ride, the story of the ride, or anything. It is simply to do with how long the wait lines have been for it. Battle at the Ministry, the actual ride portion of it. And like I said, I'll explain. There is no ride alive that you're going to be happy about riding after you've waited 6 to 8 hours to ride it. You could be the best ride that has ever been made, that mankind will ever make. But if you have to wait in line for 6 to 8 hours, it's going to kind of ruin the experience for you. It's a neat ride. You know, I'll give it that. But when it's 3, 6, 8 hours, and Monsters Unleashed is like an hour, 45 minutes, yeah, me personally, I'm going to go ride Monsters Unleashed multiple times. But, you know, if you can get the ride 2 hours or less, granted, it's probably going to get that Hagrid's treatment where it's never going to be less than 2 hours. But, you know, if you can get on it with the right wait time, it's definitely going to be worth riding. But if it's like a 6 to 8 hour line, 5 hour line, probably going to be disappointed by the time you get through. Maybe not. Maybe Potter's like your thing, but I know for me that's a long time to wait in line for one ride. And the one thing I did forget to mention in the must do, or maybe I did mention it and I just don't remember, but stay until nightfall at the park. The park looks awesome in the daylight, but it was made for nighttime. That park lights up. It is amazing. You need to see it at night. But anyway, those were my thoughts and tips and tricks and little things to try to help you, you know, make the most out of your one day at Epic if you only get to go one day. Now that I'm no longer on the project, hopefully that's going to free up some time so we can get back to making some videos. I do have some videos that I was able to make for a couple, I think it was Festival of the Arts and not Lawn and Garden. I always do that. Flower and Garden. There we go. I got there eventually. But the Flower and Garden, I filmed for them. Didn't ever get time to edit them. So hopefully, you know, maybe I can get around to making those. And I think this weekend we're going to go to just the main Universal Studios, check out the Jaws tribute store, and try to just kind of get back in the swing of things. If you made it this far, you found anything interesting, anything helpful, go ahead, click that like and subscribe. It sure would help out the channel. And thanks for watching. We'll see you guys again next time. Bye, everyone.